Good morning. I'm James Quirk, reporting for INKISH TV from Labelexpo Europe. We're on the HP Indigo stand, and I'm really pleased to be joined by industry legend, Christian Menegon. Christian, we were mentioning that you're one of the sort of last men standing from the original Indigo company. You joined the company in what year?
In 1995, believe it or not. I don't think you were born, by the way.
I was.
In 1995, where it was the very beginning of digital printing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, digital printing started at IPEX in 93
Yeah.
for commercial printing. 2 years later, at Drupa in 1995, that's where I joined, Indigo showed the first roll-to-roll machine dedicated hopefully dedicated for the label industry. That's where I joined, and the whole story started there, basically, for digital printing.
So 28 years at the forefront of digital printing in the industry. Where do you assess digital? How is its evolution? How has this journey been? Are you pleased with where digital technology is at in terms of adoption in the label industry?
Well, as a matter of fact, like anything which is new in the world, you need first of all to make sure that whatever innovation you bring to the market is okay, stable, then it fits the needs. So obviously this may take some time. As you know as well, a label is not just a printed surface. It has some functionalities, it has some requirements. So all this takes time to stabilize. Same for our machine in an application. It took some time. Obviously, all of our managers are saying this is too long. They would expect to go faster to the market. But the point is that the label is only one part of the whole value chain in which it fits. And we can come with a very agile machine for the printing. If the rest around is not agile, well, basically the whole benefit is reduced. So where we are today, we are still in a kind of transition from something which is very agile here, there, but we are still missing some connections here and there to really be mainstream. Don't get me wrong, I'm extremely happy with where we are today, because not only on the machine, on our solutions, on our number of machines installed, the sales, and the number of customers who can benefit from this, and the customers of our customers, this is magic, it's fantastic. But we're still missing some elements just to be like, okay, it's digital, so what? You know, that nobody even cares the technology because it's inside, that's it, it's done. We are not there yet, but we're getting close. And it just happened that the new machines we're showing here at Labelexpo are closing this gap.
So that's interesting that you still feel that there's progression is needed. This show does feel like a bit of a tipping point in terms of the latest generation, new generation of digital technology. Digital for quite a long time now within the label sector has had a very high level of penetration. It's quite rare to find not just top leading label converters, but even smaller, medium-sized label converters. It's quite rare to find one that doesn't have some sort of digital offering. But at the same time, obviously, in terms of overall market share when it comes to volume, digital has been a smaller section of the market. Now, the new machines, you have two really interesting machines on the stand here. The new V12, which has been sort of in development for a while, and is, I think, at a beta stage.
Advanced beta.
We'll talk advanced beta, and the new 200K. So what is it about these machines that is going to kind of tip digital even more into the mainstream, as you say?
So, as I said, whenever you come with something which is an innovation, you have to stabilize it first. So it just happened that the specs of the machines, that whatever technology we had available was giving as a throughput possibility to the market, was miles apart from what the market used to have, essentially in terms of volume. So we worked on the quality, and now that's it. We have a top quality, we have the performance which are there. I mean, everything is fine, but still the market, the label market, the users of the market still require volume. So up until very recently, digital printing was really complementary to analog. With the penetration of new machines that we have today, like the 200K and the V12, we really bridge the gap towards what the market really needs. In the early days, a brand owner would order millions, but not necessarily needed, because they may scrap a third of it by the end of the year, because it's obsolete, useless, whatever. So the concept of why you don't get what you need when you need means lower volume, but maybe more frequently. What about that? We needed to bridge that volume gap. With the performance of these machines that we have now, that's where we stand. So this Labelexpo in Brussels in 2023 for me, is a significant milestone towards not a complementarity of technology, but a replacement of technology. It's a big, big step.
So what are the, obviously much increased speed and productivity of the V12, what other elements of it do you feel are going to be particularly useful for allowing converters to move work away from, for example, their Flexo machines onto the V12, and what kind of converter, what sort of profile of converter could most benefit from the new machine?
Allow me an analogy. If you consider buying a car, you can buy a Formula One car, assuming you can find one, but you can buy also a very modest car. Both cars will go from A to B, that's the idea. But there is a difference in performance, in time, in requirements. It's the same with digital printing. There are different machines with different capabilities. The best seller we have today is the 6K, or the last version of the 6K, our Series 3, which is still really our best seller. And it has some functionalities which are great, agility, versatility, this is beautiful. We're missing basically the volume, the production that is coming out from this machine. The V12 has a throughput which is now kind of fixed, It runs at 120 meters a minute, full stop. Either it's 0 or 120. So at 120 meters a minute, there is a lot of jobs that are going through, which means that whoever is interested in buying this machine, they need to have this volume of jobs available, and not everybody will have that. So the V12 is certainly a replacement machine, not necessarily for everybody. So we do have kind of dual profile of potential customers. The 6K for the ones looking for versatility, medium size, so not having the volume, and then the V12 for the ones who really are the volume-driven companies. Yep. And then you have in between. The in between could be, for instance, the 200K. Why could that be interesting? Essentially because of the width. This is a kind of double width compared to the two other machines. Yep. So who wants a wider label? It's not the idea. The idea is that if the company, the profile of the company is looking for a certain versatility, a differentiation, maybe they want to enter into an application which requires a larger print surface. Sachet pouches, where you print the container instead of fixing a label on the container. This requires a wider web. This is what the machine is doing now. So it doesn't have the speed of the V12 as such, but it allows to do sleeves, to do flexible packaging, to do these kind of applications, which would be challenging on a narrow web. But you know what? At the same time, if you consider that the wide web can be split into two, you run a production in labels on two rolls, equivalent two rolls at the same time. So you have a higher throughput. So when you think about it, profile of companies having a need in flexibility, versatility, and somehow volume would be very pleased with the 200K. So the point is that we have a portfolio, like you have a choice of cars going from A to B, indeed, but
that fits everyone's needs.
With different needs, different values.
I remember this is the sort of successor to the 20K, and I've visited a few label converters using that, and it was interesting. You mentioning obviously the different kind of production possibilities, moving out of labels and into new kind of types of package printing. A lot of label converters use the 20K to do exactly that. So are you seeing, the average customer of yours, would you consider them just a label converter, or increasingly now are they print service provider, package printing converter, producing all sorts of other things as well?
This is a business-driven question, James. Well done. Basically, it's going back to the profile of whoever has a need in digital printing. I would say that if you play the complementarity, so you're not the volume-driven, you are more the guy having a profile of complementarity in service, in different applications, and so chances are that you will be interested by this because it allows you to position your company as a service supplier and not a square meter printed supplier like in the past. So if you think about it, the complementarity of the technology, like the short run, if you serve a brand having a need in short runs of labels, chances are that they have other products having a need of short run of sachet pouches. So if you supply them labels, why not to position yourself as a service supplier for the rest? Same files, same setup, same everything, different material, different product, but still, the service concept as one shop does all is there. So this machine allows it. And it doesn't disqualify the volume-driven V12 for another profile of companies anyway. So for me, it's the go-to-market benefit for the print service provider changing to a service provider, not print, but service provider all in all, and the benefits for the brand owners. And eventually, at the end of the line, consumers like you and me,
Sure.
because you also enjoy whatever digital printing can add.
Sure, perfect. Fantastic. And what are you hoping for this week in Brussels? You've seen lots of people so far. We're just at the beginning of day 2. But what do you feel like? This obviously the first show here in Brussels in 4 years. Do you feel a sort of exciting atmosphere on the floor? Is it good to be back?
You said it all. I'm so happy to be again in face-to-face mode. I mean, the last 3-4 years have been a real nightmare because we couldn't communicate with the people only via Zoom, which is a fantastic tool, but only when you have a list of issues to discuss, you know, and to the point, that's it.
Yeah.
Many things happen in an informal discussion, as we are having now. And this is only when you are in a place like this, when you see all these people with this atmosphere. At the end of the day, we don't have voice anymore, right? We are all sweating and tired, but oh, it's so good.
It is
It's
good.
so
I completely agree with you. You can maintain relationships online via video calls, but it's very hard to create new ones and sort of build them. And that I think is one of the great things that these industry
Actually,
shows
in
do.
this interview, you should be standing here because you said exactly what I think.
No one wants to hear from me, Christian. Much better to hear from you. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we hope that the rest of the event goes well for you. And here's to another 28 years.